not gonna lie. This will be my fifth time trying to start this episode. I guess that could actually be on message. With today's topic. This episode's topic. And that'd be obsession. Here I am trying to obsessively get a beginning of this episode to get me into the content, man. And I've kept trying. It just didn't feel right. Then it felt rehearsed, and then I had to get past that and go, okay, let's abandon the whole thing that you had to begin with, and just try to get something that's fairly, Chris Farley. But my wife would like that one. Did I already say? I already did, right? Obsession? And it's not what you think. It's not obsession of like somebody. I don't know why I took a shitty attitude right now. It's not what you think. I, I'm not against you guys. I swear to God. Or against you, sir, or madam, or any of those other ones that I proudly stand for. Pronouns. Jesus, I don't care. I'm second guessing myself way too much. It's not even 5 minutes in. That could be an obsessive part of me. But I was actually going to talk about a couple things specifically that I'm obsessed with. I may veer off a little, but hey. So first things first. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how I became obsessed with this soundtrack, I guess you would call it. Yeah. Because I was told back in the early aughts, maybe the late 90s. I was on this campus in Texas, SMU, and we were outside in the courtyard and just hanging out in some little area that had these like stone sort of benches, right? And this, I don't know who he was. I guess he was a friend of my friend's. But he told me about this television show, and that if I was to do anything with my life, it would have to start with watching this television series. And it's so odd that I remembered that guy telling me that for the longest time, never watching the television series. Excuse me. It must have taken, man, I mean, I'm thinking like 2010, 2011, 2012. So that would be almost 15 years later. Did I actually get around to watching it? And once I watched it, I don't know if I immediately became obsessed with it. I can't remember. The TV show is called Twin Peaks. And at the time, there was only 2 seasons and a film that acted as a prequel to the series that has its own soundtrack by the same composer, but just it's a different vibe. It's a different deal. The movie's way different from the television show, but there was something, and I'm not alone in this. Obviously, there are people obsessed with the show, not just the music. I think the show's there's nothing. How do you say there's nothing quite like it? without everybody wants to say that about the show they're obsessed with, right? But they're true. Oh, I don't want to say truly. Those are such an essay word. I hate it. I don't like it. I try to stay away from it. There was absolutely nothing like this on television when it came out back in the early 90s. In fact, it lampooned the shows that were on at that time, and at night even, sort of night soap operas. And so I maybe watched it all the way through once. And I don't even know if I watched it again after that for a while. And, well, let's go back to what I was saying. Let's go to the theme of the show, which is extremely famous. Big time orchestras do their own take on this theme music. And what it is it starts out with this sort of the sound of a surf guitar plucking two notes with a synth string going on in the background with a hi-hat sort of chugging along as if it was some kind of machinery. Not heavy, but like the image that is behind it is that of a saw cutting to some big wood that the town produces, I guess. And there are a lot of moving parts in this theme that I don't even think I knew were there until even recently. I don't know what I listened to it on, because here's the thing. I listen to it every day. Really every day. Like, I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not exaggerating. I literally listen to this once a day. Because it plugs me into something. I don't know what it is. We could talk about it for a sec. Is even even what's going on behind the music as it's being played on the show. There's definitely it's definitely I guess a part of... No, it's not. No, it's not. When I listen to the theme, yeah, I'm full of shit. When I listen to the theme, it's something on its own. I really don't think about the show. What I do think about, and again, I don't know when I started listening to this once a day. I'll go if I'm going to the pharmacy or whatever. I'll just put just the theme on, and it'll go over and over and over again. I'll put it on repeat. There you go, Trev. And I'll listen to it over and over. That will be my drive music, and it's just the same piece of music. I don't know when I started listening to it as obsessively as I do, but I'm going to bring up something else later on that shares this memory, which is I was really unhappy where I was working and what I was doing, and I had started dating my wife, and I would end up like going to their house, going to her parents' house, and hanging out and waiting for her to come or her parents to come home or whatever. But they have this like little I called it the lagoon. And it's kind of like a jacuzzi-ish kind of area of the pool, but it's not on or it wasn't working or something. So that's why for me it's a lagoon, lagoon. And during this time when I wasn't really happy with so many things and I didn't know what I was going to do and blah, 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 I would put this on outside and just kind of drift on my back and stare up at the sky. And they had these tall bushes and palm trees that kind of hung over a bit. So I would have this proscenium, uh, uh, this outline, I guess it's what you would say, of this foliage, and then like this clear blue sky, and this music playing. And I'd even, and I don't think I would just play the whole soundtrack, so it wouldn't just be the theme. So I guess that's kind of what happened. Excuse me. It became part of the pool life that we were generating. Um, because I would listen to that, and I don't know. There's something otherworldly. There's something vintage, and there's something like no, something overworldly, something vintage, and something said, yeah, and then something forward thinking, like in the music. And so there's always, no matter what you were listening to, there are always at least, three sort of trains of thought chugging along to the sound of the thing. And it'd be great to sort of cast my um, my forward thoughts, against them, against what that music produces for me. Mm. So it did. It became it's road music, it's pool music, and I guess why I would still listen to it at least once a day. Man, yeah. Uh, uh, I guess it keeps me plugged into that time. So it's like, you got a little of the started dating my wife kind of thing. I got this like I'm in this new backyard, this new landscape, you know, uh, all this new, and I think I guess it yeah it totally represents not only that time but those thoughts and um. So what is it? Is it a like a warm blanket? I'd say it's a comfort. Yeah, it's a comfort. Um, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, yeah. I can't believe it doesn't get old, like at all. So that either I attribute that to my own obsessive nature, or the music's just that good, especially that theme. I mean, there's plenty of other iconic cues from the TV show and the film. Um, Probably just as iconic, at least to fans for sure. Uh, Damn, I just lost my train of thought. Rosita Pumbaa Zatete. Oh, right. Zeroing in on the theme, just yeah, in and of itself, pa, pa, da, ba, da. In and of itself. I love that phrase. I can't get enough of it. In and of itself, like how many times do I say that? Oh, yeah, okay. So please, you should go check out. I wouldn't even say check out the TV show. Just go check out the music. They have the soundtrack on Spotify. I think it's just something you can just put on and kind of, I don't know, uh, taste some different frequencies. Yeah, that's what took me that long. Taste some different frequencies. So I looked at the cup. I saw, what am I doing? Oh, I'm tasting the coffee, and I'm trying to taste the and that's what you get. We all did it together. We all put it together. Mm. I'm gonna hate myself if I forgot to talk about anything in particular, anything more of the Twin Peaks theme. But I did talk about like sort of, yeah, it's got a bunch of moving parts, and there's not that many instruments being played either. It's maybe four, I want to say, and they got a light little kick, just this like, do, do. It's a nice, oh God, something about that recording too, right? Early '90s, oh, before all the stuff came in. I think we did Twin Peaks okay, and I'm just gonna go straight into the next one. Now, this wasn't a TV show, and again, to be honest, was I wasn't a big. No, I think I listened to the music before I even saw this. Now, this is a movie, and this came around the same time uh, during that, like, what am I doing in my life? Why am I working at this place? It's awful. It's I need to get out of here. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Mm. The film? Blade Runner. Oh, wait a minute. Angelo Badalamenti is the name of the composer for Twin Peaks. Can't believe I didn't even mention his name. Angelo Badalamenti. Just check him out. Anything by him. Really, really. He's probably one of the most eclectic composers I've ever that's ever been out there. Really, and everything just has that. Even the darkest stuff has just a tinge of romance on it. It's amazing what what Angelo does, and bless his heart and God rest his soul. So did Vangelis. Now you can say Vangelis or Vangelis. I don't know the proper pronunciation. He's Greek. He was Greek. He just passed away in the last few months, actually. And he was the composer for the music of Blade Runner. And I think I started listening to it. I don't know why. I think it was recommended to me on a YouTube channel that was just vinyl, like they played vinyls. And I think I picked up on it there. But because here's the thing about and oh, why I'm obsessed, because I listened to like some piece of this soundtrack every day as well. And what I have a thought. What the thought was. What the thought. What the thought was. Uh, oh, the freaking score, the soundtrack. It's got a sax in it. Now, the film came out in the '80s, and I have sax on albums that I've made, and so I'm not shitting on it at all. But there's a sax, a very noirish, romantic sax that's played over this really futuristic stuff that this guy was doing. I mean, this it sounds it hasn't aged. Yeah, even and that's what I mean about this sax that gets played. Normally, I'd be like, ugh, it's good, kind of, just you can veer pretty quickly into cheesy territory if a sax ain't played right. And I started listening to this stuff, going, the sax isn't bothering me, but it is doing the thing that I don't like, and I don't know how it sunk into me into me DNA that it's totally acceptable to me now. And actually, it brings me back to that same lagoon where I would play this soundtrack. And again, I think I was probably lying to people that I had seen it. I wouldn't have lied. I don't do that. It's fucking. But I still don't think I had seen it yet. So I was kind of coming up with my own stuff, and the soundtrack has some dialogue on it, so it kind of felt like I was kind of getting it right, in a sort of audio fictional way. But there is. I'm not going to see the future. Probably. I'm 42. I get what, another 42? Maybe I get another 42. That's it. But I don't think I'm going to see the flying car time. But it's okay because I have Blade Runner, and I know that the opening to Blade Runner, it's this huge big widescreen view of the future, and these futuristic buildings, and but everything's very claustrophobic and condensed and everything. But there's these stacks, these like smokestacks, and Vangelis, he played everything in real time, which I think lends to my obsession about this music, is that he did play it all in real time. And not only that, he had the ability with these a number of different keyboards and modules and whatnot, that he would like rehearse the piece with himself, to go over here to touch that and get that down, and then boom, and then that's gonna oscillate, and da 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 da. And so he was doing all the different instruments and everything all at the same time. It's in fucking incredible. And with everything that gets celebrated in this world, maybe he got celebrated enough in the 80s and 90s or so, and he just lived jolly over in Greece for the remaining 25 years of his life. But yeah, that's a genius type individual there, that I hope some kind of really dope Grecian person or Blade Runner fan gets something done in his honor, tacked on to a Kennedy's honor or something. Because even with this one score, I mean, the stuff that he does, it can't be duplicated. And there's a really great old timey song. I forget, One More Kiss, something. And what I love about it is not only does it's got the old timey flavor, but he takes the chorus of the song and makes it like a spoken word part for like the back end of the song, pretty much like the bridge. I've never heard anybody do that. You get the like the R&B breakdowns, spoken word breakdowns, but I never heard some old timey dude and just straight up use the chorus as the words. Like he didn't put any other words in or anything, and he fucking kills it. It's awesome. Which is so fascinating to have a film that's supposed to be so futuristic, yet it cloaks itself in stuff so old. Um, it's just fascinating what was done with it. So I think I also tap into it because of that, because of what it took to actually make the thing. Let alone the times that I was on my back in that lagoon, just looking up, just going, I don't know what's gonna be what. This is all new to me. Everything's new to me. And so I would listen to, yeah, both the Twin Peaks and the Blade Runner on repeat. Mm. You really need to check it out. You really need to check this stuff out. It's odd that both of them are sort of around the same time period. You know, like how, I don't know, certain, uh, what's the word? Collective consciousness. Do we believe in the collective consciousness? Because around that time there was some consciousness collected, and in regards to music for film and TV. There was a different thing going on. It's actually both of them are pretty. They have their classical elements, so I think we were pulling out of that way of scoring for a while, and I know you had the synths and the drum machines and whatnot of the '80s, but what's 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 interesting is that for Twin Peaks, it's all. I mean, you can hear them in the room as it's being recorded. It was all acoustic instruments, or an electric, but nothing, but not like Blade Runner where everything was coming out of electronics. Um, oh, I didn't notice that. Um, I don't know how this next one happened. I don't know if I did Blade Runner good. I think I think we're good on that. If something else pops up, I'll do it. So I don't know how this next one happened because I still haven't seen this movie. But it is not only is it something I listen to on the road regularly, but it's the one that I always put on if I'm taking a bath or taking a shower. It's the only one. And it's odd. None of this stuff. I'm not. I'm none of it. There's two songs of female vocals on Twin Peaks, which are brilliant. Um, but I'm not like waiting for them. And then you have a female vocalist on Blade Runner, but no, wait, maybe not a female vocalist. No, I think it's a male vocalist that's doing some intense tribal kinds of stuff where that's the cue that's on when my wife walks in. She's like, "Where are you, Trev?" and, And she'd be right because it's intense. But what did I get off on that? Uh, oh, right. Well, yeah, this next one, the one I haven't seen all the way through yet, is is the music from a film called Marnie. It's an Alfred Hitchcock film, and Bernard Herrmann is the composer. And I remember trying to get through this movie, and I mean, in the first few minutes, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. It's just like the camera's sitting there, and we're sitting there, and you're sitting there, and we're all just sitting there, and which is really odd. Excuse me, because the score is pretty bombastic, and I'm kind of caught off guard myself that I'd be into something like uh, as bombastic. I'll say it again, as the music is. I wouldn't be into such a little more subtlety on my end, but I'm obsessed with the melody. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. It's like I need. It's like every day I wake up and my DNA strain is missing one of those little macaroni looking like the things there, right? And every day I have to Marnie is that little macaroni looking DNA thing that the whole strand thing needs, and I have to do it every day, every day. It's the oddest thing, and yeah, and not having watched the film, I have really no sense of iconography or any of the characters or any of the locations or anything associated with it. But what's also interesting is that it's almost an hour's worth of music, and he uses the theme constantly, incessantly, like in all kinds of permutations, and uh, and I go, is that what I'm attracted to? Like hearing someone take a melody and put it through its paces, hear it in all different sort of machinations of it. The if it's slower or abbreviated or broken up or whatever, that may have something to do with it as well. But it feels like oh man, why have a mind that goes, oh, here's the word you want, but doesn't have the word. Like like I know, like my mind, it knows there's the word right there. It's right there, and nah, we're gonna just let you hang. Just gonna let you hang. Um, Marnie's a huge one. Marnie's a huge one. Marnie's a big one. And I might have just figured that out with you as I'm figuring out a lot of things with you. So thanks. Thanks for being around. Thanks for letting this play. Mm. I don't have too much more to say about Marnie. I'm going to be honest with you. But you want to hear big romance. That's where you start. You start with Marnie. Even though the subject matter of the film is a little it's a little abusive. Pero that's all right. It's Sean Connery, you know. He's handsome enough to abuse someone else. Yeah, he advocated for it. give a good, nice, just a good slap, just a good slapping. Um, I am going to talk about. Oh wait, no, I know what happened. So, high school. I find this CD at, let's go Sam Goody or Camelot Music, huh? Or Specs, faggot. I found this CD. It said Psycho on it, and it had this face, yellow and black, sort of shadowing and whatnot. And it had a couple of the suites from Psycho, but then it had a bunch of other stuff. And I think a bunch of other Hitchcock films because of Bernard Herrmann. And I used it in some little thing we had to do in class back in high school on the eighth floor, in one of the dance rooms or whatever. I remember I had to stage like some kind of show of some sort. Woof. And it was pretty. I think I did. I think I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew how to stage things, and I had like effects and stuff. So it was just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. But I used that CD for different cues for different things during that little skit deal, which was probably all of 7 minutes or so. And I think Marnie was on it. So there might be. I gotta check that out. Way to do the research, Trev. I gotta check that out. Because if it is, then that's definitely the connection. Which is because I remember the two actors that I had. One I put in had this wig, and the other one I was wearing something, and I had them kind of stand together. You know, like that what's it called? American Gothic, that painting of the old man and the old woman, not old, but you know, and they have the pitchfork or whatever, and they're in front of a farmhouse, I think, or at least a field. I had that. I did that as like the ending of this thing, and I remember I used Vertigo for that. The main theme from Vertigo for that. But I could have used Marnie, or at least Marnie was on that, and I did hear it, and that sort of stuck with me. And since I really liked what we did, and it kind of came off pretty well, you know, those successes, even as far back as, 25 years ago, hang around, or at least I'm still, I'm searching, or I'm seeking that feeling out, and maybe Marnie has it. And I didn't even know that was what I've been doing. That's kind of crazy too, right? Like not feeling like I'm really kind of succeeding or doing my best or whatever, or I'm kind of mediocre. And there's this music that I've been using to pump me up, and I hadn't realized that it's from that. Oh, gotta check it out. Oh man, this Red Bull and coffee is intense. Ooh, I do need to use the bathroom, but I'm not gonna stop this. We're gonna move forward. Speaking of high school, let's talk about one of the other. So I do listen to a lot of like these are the yeah. Huh. I have an interesting sonic environment, or like a daily. It's pretty intense, actually. I should probably ease up on this shit. I will tell you, I wasn't going to. It's not on my list because I guess I don't. I'm not listening to it every day, but I had listened to it every day, which is, I had this really profound experience, and other people would maybe describe it as soap operatic and dismiss the film in its entirety. But there's a film called Legends of the Fall, and there's a composer named James Horner, rest in peace. We lost him in a plane crash a few years ago. It wasn't so long ago, actually. He did a lot of scores. Look him up. He did a lot of the stuff that you love. Um, and I remember watching this film with my family. And when the film was over, I always describe it as I felt like I was folded like in half and like pushed down into my seat, just decimated by this film. And I must have been 15, maybe. And the film, fascinating. The film, I don't know why I guess it hit me right in the melodramatic um, gut, but the film I hadn't remembered music up to that point being such a part of film from what I had seen, and I'd probably seen these Hitchcock films and all this stuff, but there's something I guess nothing had encroached on my emotional side of things where this score is it's just perfect. And you want to talk about something that has like a couple like a theme or two and works that out throughout the film. You have Legends of the Fall. It's orchestral, but it has a Native American sort of slant on it, uh, and some of the fluting and there's war scenes, and so there's like sort of battle theme and just a huge epic. It was just an epic score, and it could go from probably 50 to 80 piece orchestra to just a pianist, which I think is insane. And some of the melody he uses in this film, he had started to noodle with it from a couple movies before. I think in Cocoon, and I forget what else was before. And so it was interesting to kind of hear a composer uh, like find something in one film and sort of take it into the next one and take it into the next one to improve upon it. I suppose some could say they're just repeating themselves. I don't think this guy was doing that. Maybe it was. I mean, it is a business because the film he did after the which was Braveheart, I think the score is pretty close to Legends of the Fall, but but there was something about Legends of the Fall, and it got the cassette tape, and it became the music that I would listen to before I would have to do something in school at that time because I was at a performing arts school. So if I had to go on and do a monologue or do some improv or whatever like that, I'd be on the ground with my head against the wall, like a fucking dipshit. Because I'm so cool, man. So cool. I just couldn't sit in a chair, man. You're not going to get me sitting in a chair, man. Oh, what a fucking brat I was. And I would listen to this stuff and it would get me hype and I would do good. So for the longest time, the score was my lucky charm. I would always have it for anything, for any situation too. And it also became the unofficial music to Thanksgiving with my family. So I had not only the experience watching the movie, but also then how it did extend. And so And so for the longest time, that was my that was my go-to. So that's a little. I mean, again would listen to it every single day, every single day, every single day, and even I will go into I'll go there'll be I don't know I'll go through stretches of it being back again, and um, it's a little it's a little weird to kind of like pump this music and like have your windows down in my town. It's like this this dong 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 like kind of stuff. Not opera singer, but like And I'm just at the light, and like some dude on a motorcycle is like next to me, kind of idling. I'm just going. It's, how I roll. I get orchestral with it. So it actually kind of juxtaposes the whole the city that I'm in. It juxtaposes the environment, to play something so emotional, so big, and it not be something modern. Now, whew, God, I gotta use the bathroom. I know. But this could be a quick one. I don't know how. I didn't even check. This is the first one I'm not checking. We're just doing this, and I'm gonna just get it on out. So, the last one I want to talk about is something that has gotten me recently. So it's my most recent obsession. Now, the score itself has been in rotation for years. It used to be the score. I'm sure we all had that clock that was also a CD player, and you could set set when you wake up, and it'll turn on the CD. It'll turn on the CD. Oh, you naughty CD. Uh, yeah, you can be funny, Travis. You could be funny on the show. You want to get back to that. Now I lost my place. Oh, recently, yeah. So it had been in my that had been what I used to wake up to for a long time. I was in my 20s, right? So yeah, that was like the CD that I would wake up to. These first initial piano notes. It was a cool way to be coaxed into the day. Um, but recently, I put it on just because it's close to Halloween. So when I drive around and whatnot, I kind of stay on task, sonically. Stay on theme, stay on holiday, and the score is The Sixth Sense. And but get get the Sixth Sense out of your mind. There is a cue, and it's called Malcolm's Story, Cole's Secret. I forget how many cues down it is in the score. All this stuff is all Spotifyable. It's probably also you can catch all this stuff on YouTube too. Um, Malcolm's Story, Cole's Secret. This cue comes on, and I guess I don't know why it captured me. That's good, Trav. Don't know the thing that you're talking about. I don't know how it captured me, but I think it's the part. I don't know. Maybe the CD would play and I would fall back to sleep, and when I woke up, it was this cue. I don't know how this cue became what it is to me now. I, it's kind of the only thing I'm listening to right now. When I'm by myself in the car, I put this one cue on and I put it on that one that like you could and it plays over and over and over again for as long as wherever I'm going to. And I've been doing it every day. And I could get into starts with like a single string with a couple piano notes and it repeats and then maybe some heavier strings come in and it's kind of like a solemn kind of feeling, but with a little hope. So like it's sad, but there's some kind of light on it, and these horns come in that just devastate me. It's just again, it's these repetitive like notes that the horns play, and then a single horn cuts through. It could be a trumpet or something, and it's kind of dark. It kind of sounds dark, even though you're used to hearing these instruments in like a bombastic, sort of anthemic kind of way. This one's kind of dark and kind of lonely, and there are a couple movements in this one cue, and it's I don't know how long it is. Maybe 2 minutes. Maybe you know what? Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the sixth cue, and let me see here. It's wow. It's 4 minutes, pretty much exactly, and I would like to think that it. I think that it goes through maybe about four movements in that time. Some are more classical, some are more experimental, which is awesome. But nothing crashes the ceiling. It doesn't freak you out. It doesn't surprise you. It doesn't any of this stuff, which the rest of the score does, which can make it pretty hard to listen to sometimes. If you're just trying to chill and drive and just kind of have a little something around, it gets a little intense. But if you just play this one cue over and over, there's so much in it. Life's in it, death's in it. It makes me. It makes me. It points out that there's difficulty. It points out that there's a darkness, but it also really gives me a sense of in a way some euphoria, but it gives me a sort of like like a nostalgic feeling for something I don't have that's directly related to this cue. No particular memory, but it still gives me that it's gonna be okay, even though I don't know. I mean, just there's no. It's. I know. Sorry, but I get it. I get it. It. Some things there are no words for, and out of everything that I have spoken to you about, that I've brought up, this cue is the only piece of what I'm obsessed with that has that feeling. Legends comes close. Legends comes real close. But there's something, maybe it is that I know contextually where this piece fits amongst the rest of them in the film. Maybe there is, yeah, there has to, yeah, of course, it's obvious. Come on, yeah, yeah, and maybe as I've gotten older, there are things that I can relate to more about these films. Oh my God, I bet they're like the same age as I am and my wife is. I bet they're the same age in that movie by now, right? Because that was like 20 years ago, right? 1999, something. And oh my God, that's some shit. Wow. Jeez. And I got Bruce Willis's hairline too, so I'm right in there. Well, I'd hang around more. I know I sort of fell flat on the ending of describing this cue, you know, that it makes me feel better about dying. That cue makes me feel better about dying. That cue makes me feel better about most things. There's a lift in it. There's a lift. It takes it's darker turns, but there's a lift in it. And I don't know anything outside of, something medicinal or whatever the heck that can give you that feeling of okay, that feeling of acceptance that for people who have left us already and for us who are going to be joining them, wherever that is. So maybe my obsession with this cue is the best obsession I could possibly have right now. Thank you for listening. Roig Rage, oh. Roig Rage.